Hello there, it's a pleasure to have you join us in another wonderful edition of a Spectrum brought to you by Galaxy Television. And for a quick look at what we're going to be talking about today, first of all, xenophobic attack in South Africa is materializing as South African's defense minister Monday said that the attacks against foreigners in South Africa were planned by criminals and that the government could not stop it. We're going to be seeing just how true that statement is. And of course, as well as Spectrum, the Election Petition Tribunal has been very, very busy since after the general elections. And as expected, there have been winners and losers. We're going to be taking a look at some of the winners and losers, and of course with Oduzo Kalu sacked by the tribunal, with the tribunal ordering a rerun of the election. And of course, people like Alex Ikoremadu, Erufai Sela Odwa, the elections being upheld. And finally, we coming home where the following the arrest in Agbowo or Joe Ibadan of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, supposedly caused by a faction of the National Union of Rail Transport Workers' activities, government and Governor Seyi Makinde of Oyo State has reiterated that the ban on the activities of the union is still in force. Is what we're going to be talking about today on Spectrum. We'll go for a break. When we come back, I have my guests. I'll introduce them and we'll start talking. My name is Solomon Ofem. Welcome to the show. It's good to have you back. If you're just tuning in, this is Spectrum on Galaxy Television, and I'm Solomon Ofem. I have Comrade Wale Akinremi, Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities, SANU, Chairman, University of Ibadan. Good to have you join us on the program today again.
Bless you.
It's been a while. It's good to see you again.
It's about next level.
Definitely. I hope you share the national cake when you get to the next level with people like us.
It's meant for all of us.
Okay.
All Nigerians.
I also have Mr. Kazeem Bolarinwa. He is a social commentator. Good to have you join us on the program for the first time on Spectrum today. Do apologize. The last time you came with the technical issues and we couldn't have you. Good to have you join us on the program again today.
Morning.
Okay, let's quickly take a look at our first topic of discussion. The South African Defense Minister said on Monday that the attacks against foreigners in South Africa were planned by criminal elements and the government can't prevent it. Said this in a local channel in South Africa, describing South Africa as an angry nation and insisted that the government could not prevent the ongoing violence. According to her, the death of two people during a clash in Johannesburg on Sunday, September 8, could have been avoided, but that it was well orchestrated by criminal elements. She, however, said xenophobic attacks were not politically motivated. And meanwhile, President Bolarinwa has given instruction to the for the immediate evacuation of all Nigerians who are willing to return home from South Africa. And so many other things have happened in between. Now, let me start from you, sir. How true is that statement? Do you agree with her on that the South African government cannot do anything about the attacks of other African nationals in South Africa?
How else do you admit failure as a leader? You know, what he has just done is to come out openly to admit that his government is a failed government, because the first assignment of the government is the security of the people and the properties within that particular territory. When you talk about social contract, you know, I mean, discussing John Locke now, you know, the essence of it is that the state is to protect the people and the interest within. So whatever is within South Africa, his first responsibility as the leader of that country is to protect lives within that country, whether he likes it or not. I'm sure there must be, you know, a sort of backlash for even the South Africans. Not only about the immigrants within the country now. So if he's coming out to say that there was nothing they could do, then again, that also tells us that what he said when he was campaigning, he actually meant it. You know, he meant to actually incite the untrained South African youths, you know, and many of them are practically untrainable now, because for quite a while they had no access to quality education or technical training and all that. They are so lazy, they are complacent, you know, they are like, you know, thinking that there is going to be a sort of El Dorado after the independence. So the black set, you know, did not do enough in South Africa to develop the same South Africans that we are talking about carrying out xenophobic attack against Africans. They are not moved to where the whites are, and the whites are in the minority. They still run 85% of the economy of South Africa. That's why I tell people that no South African will come out to me and tell me that Nigeria and South Africa belongs to the same class. No matter how poor or how rich we are running this country. Whereas in South Africa is an economic outpost of the whites on African soil. That's how it is. So the president actually gave some encouragement through inciting statements when he was campaigning, and obviously for him to now come to say that there was nothing they could have done to stop it is to admit that, you know, the body language actually approves of what they are. You know, when you fail, there must be a sort of blame game. You must create a scapegoat. You must give, in politics deliberately, leaders do that. When they are failed and something is going to come out to expose their failure, they just throw something, or something is throwing itself, you know, that will divert attention of the people. Then they give a body language that supports that thing, so that at least for about a week, 2 or 3, all you'll be discussing is that particular topic. Whereas in South Africa, what we should be discussing today is that why is it that since 1990, with all the infrastructures, you know, bestowed on them by the whites, yes, they have the best of infrastructure in Africa. Yeah, they are retrogressing, and it was stated the fear of the whites then was that give these people this country to run, they will ruin it. Pull it down. Instead of running South Africa, they are ruining South Africa, and the president has come out to tell us immediately after Nelson Mandela and the gentleman Thabo Mbeki, and we saw the immediate past president, what do they call him? The one that Jacob Zuma, you know, and this particular one. They are into theatrics. They are not into governance. So for him to have openly come out to tell us that there was nothing the government could have done to avert it, obviously tells us that it is a failure as a leader.
But at least she's blaming the criminal element and not Nigerians as it were, because some of the news we've been hearing coming out of South Africa that the Nigerians that are criminals in South Africa are the one causing this thing, and that the South Africans are tired of the criminal elements. Talking about Nigerians in South Africa as the ones that are pushing drugs and stuff like that.
That's true.
Yes, to you.
All right. When we talk about independence in the real sense means that you do everything and anything on your own. I dare to say that there's no country in the world that is independent. Because if we do have an independent country, then there shouldn't be a union of countries doing things together. So why would South Africa look at other Africans as a threat? It is wrong. An African cannot be a foreigner in another African nation. So to me, it makes no fundamental sense for you to attribute your own failure or your own or anything that is bedeviling the smooth running of your economy to another nation, or to the citizens of another nation, or to your attribute or association with another nation or people from that nation. So it is absolutely wrong on their side. So for their president to come out, in fact, in the real sense, for the failure of their president in the first place to give his word against that action from the onset is bad. It's failure on his part. And going forward since then, if, like I saw a clip yesterday by Obasanjo, and he said that if he were to be a South African, or let's say the president of South Africa, what he would have done first of all was to actually say bad about the fact that you are unleashing mayhem on people, because that is dehumanizing. It makes no sense, and it's not right on any angle you want to look at it, to kill other human beings because of a problem that you don't even have any fact to tender against them. You understand? So if you are to look at it very, very well, of course, no one would say that we didn't help South Africa during the period of apartheid.
I mean, we played a huge part.
A huge role. We sent a good number of their people that are now doctors, lawyers, that are now their technocrats. You know, we sent them abroad. We financed them then. And of course, we accommodated them to the best of our ability. In fact, I dare say that there is no country in Africa that is as accommodating as Nigeria. And you see, if not that they are ingrates, They are not supposed, in fact, it's not even Nigeria of all nations. In fact, it's even wrong for them to do that to any nation, okay? Not talk of Nigeria, who actually was there for them during their trying time.
Now, but one may be tempted to say that probably we are taking too much advantage of the fact that we assisted them in the growth of the nation. We assisted them during the apartheid period, for taking too much advantage for us to go there and perpetrate crime. Now, we know that Nigerians have been known for doing well all over the world, but we're also known that Nigerians are embarrassing us. And the news isn't far-fetched in South Africa, where they've been accusing us of drug pushing and stuff like that. So one may be tempted to say we are taking advantage of the fact that we assist them, and in a negative way.
You're going to agree with me that the best way you can fight in the world is that which you have the support of your home. There is no how a Nigerian will go to the South Africa and begin to perpetuate anything that is criminal, okay, that's going to carry drugs, that is going to even succeed on the smallest act of criminal or crime, that there will be no support of someone from South Africa. Do you know that? Yeah. Because of course, when you go to another land, you are a foreigner, you're strange in that land. You need to actually locate one or two people that will tell you how it is done, that will show you rules, that will help, in fact, that will help you acclimatize, right? Yes. So it means that if Nigerians are said to be criminals in South Africa, then there were some South Africa who are well established in the act of criminality that are now the ones showing the Nigerians the way on how to do it. And of course, Nigerians are smart people. If show us a way, we will become boss, we will become master. We tend to get to know things faster than even you, the teacher.
Both in the good and in the bad way.
In all ramifications of life. And you're going to agree with me that when it comes to the act of hustling and bustling, Nigerians are always fantastic. Nigerians are everywhere in the world. You understand? So, of course, the composition of the elements of Nigeria is enough to give any other person headache. I mean, neighboring countries, you understand? Definitely. And that is why it's not even South Africa alone that is jealous of what our composition is all about, right? It's everyone and everywhere in the other lands, you understand? But the sense is this: in a situation whereby you have no absolute advantage, whereby you have no comparative advantage, what you are supposed to do when you see someone that is bigger or stronger than you is become that person's friend, right? So that you can learn and prosper. You understand? A situation whereby you decide to attack them, trust me, will not solve any issue. Besides, you cannot use hot, right, to calm hot, right? If one side is hot, the other part needs to be cooled, right? If you think Nigerians that are coming here, they are the ones perpetrating crimes, they are the ones doing drugs, they are the ones, it's very, very easy. You have a government, right? Enact stringent policies, right, on law, on crime that has to do with drugs or anything that has to do with it, or even internet criminality, right? And try as much as you could to facilitate your judiciary to be to be stronger than ever before, and to carry out, to adjudicate law the way they are supposed to, so that by the time you are able to convict anyone, make sure the person is sentenced.
In other words, let them pass through the right process.
So that is what is expected of them.
Instead of jungle justice, that's what's happening in South Africa.
Because jungle justice on any fold is wrong.
Now, the defense minister of South Africa also said that the attacks, the xenophobic attacks, aren't politically motivated. Do you agree with that statement?
It's not politically motivated. Well, it's not political because it's not about a political party fighting another political party. What we are seeing is that it's all about a failed system. And we think again that there is absolute tendency that the South African government is giving a body language that actually approves of this criminality. Let us give you an example. Look at Saudi Arabia. There have been issues of foreigners, Nigerians, caught in Saudi Arabia and all that, peddling drugs and all that. And they were put through their legal process and procedure. Some were released, some were killed in Saudi Arabia, and there are thousands of Nigerians living in Saudi Arabia. Because of that, it's not that the Saudis are now lynching Nigerians, killing them and all that. It's just because these guys are hiding, they are bereft of ideas, they are lazy, they do not know the next thing to do. And
so the successful Nigerians become a threat to them.
By my brother, you see, it's not only in terms of I'm proud to be a Nigerian. I wouldn't know. We read The Lonely London. I think the book was written around 1940s or all that. You know, the characters that were used to depict Africans, you know, were Nigerians there. You know, you would realize that when there were issues, when others were not surviving, you understand, he still was able to find its level, you know, and he was surviving. It was strange to me that this guy, you know, with all the economic hardship and all that, he's still growing fat, you know, glittering and all that. So when you look at preponderance of you know, positive contribution of Nigerians abroad, you know, it outweighs the negative contribution. And, you know, it's like there's a sort of a conspiracy against us. Not that one is supporting criminality. There will be bad elements all over the world. You know, there's nowhere you go to that you don't see the bad elements. If you take drugs to Saudi Arabia, who buys it? It means there are Saudis that take drugs, that take hard drugs. So there will be bad elements in all societies in this world. That is how the world is. We are not saying anybody should go and sell hard drugs. But you won't tell me that an average Nigerian that is successful abroad is because it's criminal. We see it here now. What is the contribution of our government over the time, you know, to the development of this nation? It is through our sweat. You know, it's through our sweat. You see an average Nigerian hustling and bustling, moving up and down, you know, doing 3-4 jobs together in this country. And when he gets abroad, the same thing applies. He's not lazy, you know. So that we are successful does not mean that it is because we are criminals. And you see, a Nigerian sees an opportunity, he taps into it, he makes good. It's just unfortunate that we are being tossed around because of our failure of leadership at all. But it does not mean that South Africa will now be taking advantage of that. That is not what we deserve. And let me also tell you that in 1990, when South Africa got their independence, you know, specifically they wrote to Nigeria that we should send our professionals to them, and we sent about 3,000. At the first instance, about 3,000 to South Africa. And many of them are in South Africa till date. I have personal friends that are in South African universities today that they were only there for their postdoctoral, and South Africa refused to, and pleaded that they shouldn't. Some of them returned home and they will still be president, come back. That is the brain of an average. Even those that started school late, you see that there is something upstairs. So wherever you see a Nigerian in this world, we have one or two things positive to over. Let us go back to even the US that displayed Nigerians, 77 of them. Are you getting me now? We have over 100,000 professionals in the United States of America that are Nigerian. In their medical sector, if Nigerians within, if they withdraw today, they will feel it. In the UK, if Nigerian medical, the same South Africa, if Nigerian medical doctor says that we are returning home, their health system will collapse. Go and dig that statistics. So when you arrest 77 Nigerians out of about 500,000, and that is our label, that's our identity, that's our mirror, something must be wrong somewhere. And that is why the leadership in Nigeria must wake up. People cannot just be tossing us around. There was a period that people were using Nigerian passports. They are not Nigerians, but they are blacks. And because we act as a big brother for Africans, you know, in our community, we see people from Senegal, people from Cotonou, people from Ghana till date, that we know they are not Nigerians, they don't have any papers. They live in Nigeria. Once they come around, we live together.
And we welcome them.
And welcome them. And we want them to grow and all that. So for Nigerians to move out and people will be mocking us, Nigerians will invest in their country. Do you know that the trade balance between Nigeria and South Africa today tilts towards Nigeria? They will not even tell you that. How big are they? The trade balance between Nigeria and South Africa tilts towards us. It's our leadership that will wake up. Not a country like South Africa. You know, we're tossing Nigerians around. It's a shame, and we need to work on that.
Now, it may not be politically motivated, according to you,
but
it is systemic.
It is systemic because they have failed to train. You see, they saw the facilities. It's their land already, naturally. Definitely. It's a land given to them by God. And the white men arrived there, the Boers and other Africans and all that, you know, started oppressing them. They took the land away from them, and they were developing places where they wanted to live. They were pushing the blacks to ghettos. Are you getting me now? So over the period of time, they couldn't even enter buses with the whites and all that. So the whole world not the whole world now, in fact the black world and some nations like Cuba and all that supported their independence. So when they got that thing, they thought it was just cheap and it was an El Dorado. They did not prepare for that independence. They did not prepare for it. That was the problem. Because when you were asking, okay, you want to, dad must give you a car and you must take it to the parties, but you did not even find your time before daddy knows to go and learn how to drive. So when they got the car, they couldn't drive it, and they are crashing the car now. After crashing the car, they are even, you know, pulling down the whole of the community with the failure of the vehicle. That is what is happening in South Africa. Go to the university, your universities. How many of them are there? how many of them are in the universities? And let me also tell you that there's social connect to this problem between the South Africans and the Nigerians. Do you know it also has to do with ladies? It has to do with the opposite sex. Because an average South African, yes, I'm telling you practical experience that I know. An average South African lady wants to date a Nigerian. Because that Nigerian will work. We have one pride. One white
You're
lady,
stealing our jobs,
one white
now you're
lady
stealing
was
our women.
one white lady is in UI for a research. He was sent from London to meet me on a particular topic. So he was my visitor. She rather was my visitor, and we went to a place. Okay, I offered her drink and food and all that. After that, she then asked the server that what's my bill? I said, what are you saying? My bill. I said, you're going to pay. In Africa, if I would take you a lady out and you will pay for my food, my mother will regret giving birth to me. Are you getting me? So, you know, an average Nigerian wants to take care of his wife, wants to be in charge economically and all that. So we work. They just dance. All they know is dance, drink, and smoke. They cannot do anything. So they are not happy that our men are even taking their ladies. So as stated by my brother, instead of abusing Nigerians, all they need to do is, you know, move close to them. They will teach you how to survive in this world. Put an average Nigerian in hell. He will put AC. He will create AC within.
Okay, now how would you rate the Nigerian government response so far to this current xenophobia? I mean, for a while it's like our Nigerian government were just sitting down, crossing their legs while their compatriots are being killed abroad. But it looks like this time there is a response, a strong response from the government. So what do you think of their response so far in this particular issue?
To me, what you see as strong, to me isn't strong. And even if it is strong, it's not strong enough. Okay. Because, of course, nothing stopped our government from responding immediately that started. You understand? Probably because I'm very, very emotional. I couldn't even withstand watching the clip, not even one of the clips successfully, you know. So if actually, I think this is one factor distinguishing US from Nigeria. You know, why is US a successful country today? Is actually because the leaders have something our own leaders don't have. It is
They're
called
proactive.
empathy. No, empathy.
Okay.
You understand? A situation whereby they have that love for their people and they're always ready to protect them to the best of their ability. In fact, with the last drop of their own blood, I mean the government, right? If our leaders have such empathy for us, trust me, Nigeria wouldn't be the way it is. We would not see a leader amassing the wealth that belongs to the generality of the populace to himself alone. Because a leader that can do that definitely would not respond when it's time for them to respond to the killing of Nigerians out there. Because, of course, any leader that has empathy would know that what I'm actually embezzling for personal fiefdom is what is meant for millions of people. You understand? Any leader that knows that this money belongs to more than one person, then it shouldn't be found in my own personal account. Such leader would respond when they see that mayhem is unleashed on one Nigerian outside Nigeria.
So you think these governments have not done enough
at all?
What do you think, sir?
I think it has to do with our gerontocratic leadership system in this country. You see that in this place, we always love to vote Babash, you know, as the president. Yeah. You can imagine, even Dr. Goodluck Jonathan, that we said was meek and all that. When South Africa deported Nigerians, you know, the following day he packed their... South Africa deported Nigerians that are into petty trade and all. He deported their professionals. Do you know the consequence of that? He packed them. Send them. So, of course, I knew our own president will not be swift in reaction. And there are times that when the reaction is not swift, it's not going to be sweet. If you come out, some people will come out and defend him like you just wanted him to talk. See, if it's about protection of your citizen, you can talk. You can attack any nation. You've done nothing wrong. America did it to Iran, not even to their citizens now, just to just a threat. And they seized America's oil tanker. Britain did the same thing. Iran did the same thing. They are discussing now. They are negotiating. You cannot hold on to power and be afraid. You understand? That's what we say in this part of the world. So what we are saying is that whatever they do now, I think there was a bit of slow reaction, and it doesn't make it sweet. At the point people are like feeling, do we have the country there? And again, you see, when I know that if I touch you, we have people that will react. I will have to think more than twice. But when I know that they will just speak grammar and that is the end of it all, why do we say Nigerians should come here? South Africa to Nigeria, what do they have? See, if you know what happened to South African rand was having issues until MTN was introduced here, and it started stabilizing until the model of the whole economy again. But the money they were making from Nigeria, because we are the biggest scholars in the world. We are the biggest scholars in the world. Everything you want to tell Mama Loco and the Yandin Sale and all that. So, they were making their money here, and we're not disturbing their franchise. And don't let anybody tell you that.
And MTN is not even that patronized in South Africa.
Who is going to call? If it is patronized in South Africa, who is going to call? They are poor. The South Africans are poor. The Southeast, they are very poor. They don't work. They are lazy. Very lazy people. Nigerians will find their... Even in Nigeria here, this is a place where you see a graduate of law, running poultry farm, having another master's in psychology and all that. It's this place that you see a young man running his third master. You wouldn't know the one that will be useful. Why he's doing that is also a shoe cobbler, but he's putting on nice tie, and you don't know that he's a shoe cobbler. Let's
not even talk about the lots of graduates and Okada riders.
No, if you meet them, impeccable English and all that. So what we are saying is that the reaction was slow, but I think in the last few hours, I still appreciate that the thing is picking up. But it must come with stern warning. It's not always, after the event, you will see other nationals writing about the event in South Africa and abusing Nigeria. You can imagine Ghana, a Ghanaian writing and discussing and filming when mentioning it. They should be shivering when we mention Nigeria, and we need to do that. We need to do that. If we don't do that, Nigerians will not earn respect. Not all Nigerians abroad are into many jobs. They cannot afford to even allow Nigerians there to return to this country because of what they are offering them. See, statistics says that the most educated, immigrants in the US are Nigerians. So what are we talking about? That's the most civilized country in the world. So
not just the immigrant, the group of people. Americans have different group. 40% are educated, and you can imagine what that contributes to
the economy of that country. So if you now use just 77 of, I'm not saying one of us should be a thief, but mention that country where 100% all of them are clean. Even if it's their leaders, places where people go to worship, people that are stealing their money there, they are the leaders. You understand? We still go there to worship. I don't want to mention him so that I will not offend the.
Okay, but
just in addition to that,
okay,
if the response of our government had been fast enough, Nigerians wouldn't take retaliatory measures or attack on their own, So they would have waited, in fact, and see what the government would have done since they have responded fast enough. But when everywhere was cold, everyone was mute, So we had to do something, even though I'm not in support of what was done, you understand. And what we did was actually proverbial to the government to know that if you don't take necessary measures,
we the ordinary citizens
we can do more.
And of course, when the ordinary citizens decide to take law into their hands, it's going to send the wrong message.
It is street versus street. In South Africa, there was no government, to swiftly nip the impending doom in the bud, you understand? And the streets took over. In Nigeria, the government kept quiet, and the street also is street versus street. I work in a university, it's all about, you live with all sort of people. The thugs must also live. Are you getting me? The thieves will live. Unless sorry my brother. What we are saying in essence is that Nigerian government needs to realize the fact that they also have people like that are in South Africa, also have them here. That is why government must be responsive, or in fact proactive. So if immediately that thing happened, the president was on here to say this and that,
it would have prevented
in fact Nigerians would just be praising him. If anything was going to happen, it's just going to be a mild protest, and that protest will be in support of our people and government. But people are like, what are you saying? Yes, we have our issues at home, but whose business is that? Yes, Nigerians have issues, that's security challenges, we have ethnic issues, religious issues and all that. It's our internal problem. It's not for, in South Africa they kill themselves. The murder rates in South Africa is one of the highest in the world, if not the highest in the world. They kill themselves on minute things. So it's not that anybody will tell us that should we also kill ourselves in this country. It's not. It's internal. We will handle it. But do you know what was going through me? What was going through my mind? I couldn't watch it. A Nigerian that carries the passport that I carry, they pour fell on him, set him ablaze. They are disgracing me. That's the meaning. I cannot go. I will go to South. You cannot even just set an animal ablaze like that. So it's not something that we should take. So that people protested. Even if I will not approve of it, I will say that government must always realize that we also have elements like that. Thank God that, I mean, people were able to control them, that they should. Social media also helped. On social media, people were saying that, oh, don't let us take it that way. Don't let us. But if it has to do with the reaction from the government, it was not sweet enough.
Okay, now, don't you think this is like a karma, to what we did in Ghana? We also, even though it wasn't murderous the way it is in South Africa, but once upon a time, we were tired of some certain nationals, the Ghanaians, and we practically bundled them out of this country. One would say this is like a karma.
Karma, the law of karma is this: whatever you do to others shall be done unto you in this or any future incarnation of your soul. Now, if
are you adding spirituality to it?
No, that's the definition of karma.
Okay.
No, so look at it. If it's actually right, I'm just trying to let you know there is no karma, because it's meant to be proportional. So ask yourself, is this proportional? No, it's not karma. It's just their stupidity.
You also believe in the proportional spiritual thing.
Well, I would say that we also made a mistake then, because I was in secondary school. I think we made a mistake there. It was a fatal mistake, the way we treated Ghanaians, but we didn't kill them. Ghanaians were teaching us in school and all that. They were.
It was like they were leading in our education.
They weren't leading. It was.
they were all over the place.
They were all over the place.
We had professors among them.
They weren't leading. They were not close to leading. Let me tell you, any society that will develop will not be afraid of new people, of different ideas.
That's what makes the US special.
For example, an average Ghanaian, cares about accent in pronunciation. In this place, when an Igbo man pronounces, you know that this man is from the other side. When Yoruba man pronounces English, it sounds like he's singing Fuji. Are you getting what I'm saying now? So when our brother from the north speaks, we don't even know whether that one is an
F or a P word.
Are you getting what I'm saying now? But an average Ghanaian, are you getting me, cares about that. And we were picking from that. And in fairness to them, they were meticulous. They were meticulous. They were here to work. It's not their land. So they worked more. What's strange about that? That is why an average Nigerian also will go to another place and excel far. There are no distractions. At home, he must come home with something. Here, he must not be chased away. It adds to the value of the system. You shouldn't be afraid of people coming to mingle with us. Nigerians are giving space all over the world. Nigerians are vice chancellors in South African universities. Are you getting me now? They asked for them come. They don't want them to go in Botswana. In fact, many of our people decided to even leave Botswana themselves. That's see the way they were treating them. I have a friend that left because they want to die of cholesterol, because they were just paying him. They don't want him to do any work than just intellectual. Don't sweat it. You get what we are saying now. So, for Nigeria to develop, for any country to develop,
at least the Ghanaians learned from them. Their governments developed themselves.
It wasn't that it was spectacular. It's just that, let me tell you, there's nothing spectacular in Ghana till tomorrow that is far better than
Nigeria. They are trying. When
my brother, there is nothing. Because Nigerians are going to South Africa, Ghana. Ask those who are going to Ghanaian universities, how does those universities, how do they look like? That's just the truth. Our problem here is that our level of enlightenment, far outweighs level of infrastructural development that we have here. Nigerians are exposed. When you see the mama lawyer that you think is not literate, please don't be dazed when you get to know that she's having an HND in her kitty. Are you getting me now? So we are so exposed that we know what is going on all over the world. So you cannot give us half-baked infrastructure and think we are going to take it as the best. It's not that there's anything actually so spectacular. If there are places that are developed in Africa, I will tell you, that at pace in terms of infrastructure, you go to North Africa, then South Africa that was developed by the whites. In the West African sub-region, we are still the biggest brother. I tell you. Things that Nigerians will waste, they dare not even waste it in Ghana. I'm not pre-clapping for us because of that. So we can afford to just see a national stadium in Lagos, Nine Fallow, Liberty Stadium, the first Olympic stadium in Africa. We can afford to allow the national stadium in Abuja. I mean, you get what I'm saying now. Enter University of Ibadan. How many universities in Africa has the infrastructure that is in UI? Now go to OAU. It's like their first assignment is cement. They first intimidate with OAU is fashioned after Harvard. Are you getting me? And the intellect that is there, it's just this coordination at the leadership level that is our challenge. We do not belong to the class of Ghana. How many graduates do they produce in a year? How many graduates do they produce in a year? And let us bring statistics together. When you talk about people excelling in the world, people getting scholarships, people getting accolades and all that, where is their Nobel laureate? They should bring their Nobel laureate from Ghana. Are you getting me now?
And again, I want to add to that. Okay, anything you hear about any country is just the function of the kind of media they operate. Okay, you see, each and everyone in Nigeria is a media practitioner. You understand? Everyone will put something on Facebook, everyone will put something on Instagram, and the fact
that's the beauty of social media.
That is going out. You understand? But people tend to circulate bad news highly compared to the rate at which you circulate good news, and that's why you see that everything that happens in Nigeria, especially the bad part, is televised everywhere. It's known everywhere because everyone's WhatsApp status has become a TV. You understand? And again, in addition to what he said, you see, we Nigerians are so loyal. I'm just trying to let you know that sending Ghanaians out of Nigeria wasn't a function of the fact that we were afraid. We weren't afraid because we are very, very loyal, especially to foreigners. It's in Nigeria that you will see. But
that wasn't what it looked like then.
That you keep using saffron and you keep respecting them. You see, they will be doing what they can't do and they will be paying you mega amounts and you still be respecting them. It's in Nigeria that you happen to be the citizen of Nigeria would be a housemate to someone that is a foreigner that is maltreating you, and outside you dare not talk about it, that this man is maltreating you in there. You understand? Only in Nigeria is this happening. You understand? So if actually there is someone there is a set of people that should be xenophobic, I think it should be we Nigerians, but yet we're not.
Okay, if you're just tuning in, this is Spectrum on Galaxy Television. We'll go for a break. When we come back, we'll take a look at tribunal result, and of course we'll be back home here where we're having issues with NURTW. We'll be right back. Don't go away. If you're just tuning in, this is Galaxy Television, and the program is Spectrum. I still have a comrade Wale Akinremi here and Mr. Kazeem Bolarinwa in the studio, making justice to what we're going to be talking about today. Now, Election Petition Tribunal has been very busy since the general election took place, and as expected, there have been winners and losers. Now, among the losers, Odjus or Kalu on Tuesday, or Monday night, I beg your pardon, was sacked by the tribunal, and the tribunal ordered a rerun of the election. Now, what would you say generally about what's happening with the tribunal? How do you think they are faring so far with some of the results?
I think the problem largely is always about the politicians. What the tribunal is going to work with is the preponderance of evidence, what you bring forward, what the lawyers are able to prove, the facts laid bare before the tribunal, the panel. So they can't do outside of that. And you see politicians, if there are incurable optimists in this world, it's the politicians. Something that is never going to happen to you, this must happen. In fact, we go to mountains and all that and pray, and that is not enough to convince the tribunal. And I think we are evolving because before now there were periods that people did not even believe in the tribunals, that they will not even approach. So now people can go and there are no noise. Nobody is. I mean, you just want to hear the outcome of what is going on. So the judiciary in terms of electoral matters, I think, is evolving and improving. And there are not many negatives from the populists, but the politician, after losing the election, after losing at the tribunal, still believes that it's the tribunal that is not award him the. So these are just the things that we need to work on. Elections are meant to be won and to be lost. In the developed world, you hardly see, and especially the presidency. After the election, you don't hear about the opponents of the American president again. But here it's about distraction and all that, because you believe that you are the best for the community when even you have not visited the community 4 years period to the time that you were contesting and you were distributing rice. So for the tribunals, I think they are faring very well. They are doing very well, and there are no negatives. And don't forget that the present democracy is 20 years now, if I'm correct, since 1999 till date. And we talk about precedents in judicial process. They have a lot of precedents to look into when cases come. So things, they are well equipped, better than in 1999 that were just involved, and 2003 that were just having the first transition being done by the democratically elected people. So things are improving and things are changing. So, and that is the normal thing for democracy. It allows you the room to learn, to continue to learn and continue to learn.
Now, he just said something about distraction. I don't know if you agree with it, because, I mean, after the elections, I mean, the winners celebrate and continue their governance, and the losers are supposed to lick their wounds, go energize themselves and prepare for the next election. But all these legal cases, I lost, I won, think about it. I mean, like political child's play, as it were.
No, it's not a child's play. The law is meant to be exercised. You understand? And it's your legal right to exercise it. You understand? I see this as a judicial success, because injustice anywhere is a threat to justice everywhere. You understand? So I'm really glad that this is happening, because like you said too, whenever anyone is declared, the next thing is you continue to celebrate and the other person sees himself as a failure. But of course, you shouldn't see yourself as a failure because you have the judicial system. And this is actually a fact that our judicial system is not functioning, because of course, it's not as if the guy doesn't have enough money, to buy his way. But of course, there's nothing like buying anymore. You understand? So I'm glad that the judicial system is functioning right
now. Let's take a look at some of these people now, like Audius Okalu. Why do you think it went badly for him? I'm sure he's going to come out to, appeal, against the tribunal decision.
Well, I think when you look at that part of the country, I think it will surprise you that eventually he was even able to win that election. I'm not saying that he actually rigged the election, but for him to have won, it will surprise you that how was this able to come about as a result. So that also will give the opponent the impetus, to challenge the result. But the onus is also on the lawyers. I'm sure Audius Okalu is going to appeal the, so you have to read.
But he was a former governor of the state. That should count for something.
It's not enough. In this part of the world, in this country, we vote big parties. I am involved in politics, and it's been a while. We vote big parties. If you risk your father's name to contest election in this part of the country, no matter how good you are in the community, you will smell yourself. You will smell yourself. Those people that are saying this party A is bad, party B is bad, they will tell you, they will be the same person that will tell you that, as good as you are, why did you not go to party A or B? That is still our orientation. So that is a former governor, it's not enough, but it's an added advantage. So he has the wherewithal, the capacity, the popularity, the experience, the money, to hold the political machinery to win. And he didn't go to just any small party. I'm not saying he's not good enough to win, but we are saying that that terrain, that he was able to win will be something that will give the opponent the impetus. There was a period in this part, I will mention the party, that if we put the flag of AD on a goat, that goat will win that election. Are you getting what I'm saying?
Because it will be assumed that it's AD.
You don't even need to assume you just needed the tickets of that party as AD. You get what we are saying now. So that was one of the things I would give but it's going to be so close. So it could tilt. And you see, the thing about matters like that is that once there is a hole, and that hole depletes your figure, if that person wins by 1 vote, it becomes a winner. So it's going to appeal. It's a big fish.
Now the reverse is the case for Ike Kwerimadu, El-Rufai. El-Rufai election was, approved on Monday, and of course Stella Odua. Now, what do you think made the difference, for them against their opponents?
You see, in the case of El-Rufai, like what I stated about Orji Uzokali, you see that Kaduna is largely an APC state. Kaduna, you only give APC a deal of trouble in Kaduna, but to win is going to take you more than extra effort. Same thing happened in Kano. It's not that the governor of Kano was the one that was that popular, but the influence of the party and the personality of the president. I have personal friends that that we are here, that knows about Kano politics. Are you getting me now? The same thing that I explained, was what actually transpired at the election, that it was going to be so close, but the influence of the personality of the president is going to help the incumbent president. So the same thing in Kaduna, you only try. It's not going to be easy. As long as Buhari was going to contest that election under APC, you only try. It was not going to be very easy for anyone to.
And any objection that Ike Kuremadu shouldn't have won. Especially with the influence he has with the National Assembly. It was only obvious that he's going to come back. So probably like contesting his election was just waste of time and money.
It was just to reaffirm the fact that he's strong.
There are things that you do not contest, save that maybe you wanted to keep your political associates and all that. There's this braggadocio that you show in politics that we are there, we were cheated. You have to, you see, if there is a place where deceit lives, it's in politics. They have to come back to tell you that for all that we offered into that thing, it's the court. He actually lost the election exactly during the election, not at the court, but he want to do something. Sometimes they do that to keep the people, keep the coming of the days of buying judgments and all that. I think it's gone.
Fading away.
It's fading away. Yeah. So you have to do your work with the people. Even technicalities, the court is doing itself to. It's best to avoid the technicalities now. Give the judgment, at normal so that, especially when it comes to election, you must allow people to vote, their leaders. If you just use technicality, to take away the leaders they have voted, no matter the weaknesses, as long as those weaknesses are not fundamental and not against the law of the land, it's the cup of the cross of the people to carry. So that's what the court is doing now. And not only that, in this instance, you see that the person that is even challenging the winner is just doing it for academic exercise.
Okay, let's come back home or your state, where following the arrest in Agbowo Ojo Ibadan axis of the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, supposedly caused by faction of the National Union of Road Transport Workers activities, Governor Seyi Makinde has reiterated that the ban on the activities of the union is still in force. The governor gave the warning against the backdrop of invasion of the state secretariats of the union by yet to be identified members of the NURTW. It should recall that Governor Makinde had in June proscribed the activities of the union in the state owing to the leadership tussle that had left many injured and property destroyed in the wake of the inauguration of a new political administration in the state. Now, thank God for the present government, and so far, even though we know it's too early for us to be giving him pass mark, but so far looks like he's getting it right, compared to the way things were. And do you think this issue is going to be a challenge for him?
Yeah, it's a challenge because the aspect that we are discussing, I will say that yes, he's getting it right, but we must give kudos to his predecessor, because I am from Ibadan. I am Ibadan. You see, if you travel outside of this place and you mention that you are from Ibadan, the two things that they will ask you, they will mock you with, has to do with the fields in Ibadan. Your place is dirty and toggery. Are you getting me? And his predecessor was able to nip those two things in the bud. He did not tolerate, toggery at all. Now, when people were going to vote Seyi, major thing that they were asking has to do with those two things. Those two things specifically. That if you are going to add to others, you have to build on these two major things. And one was surprised that with the support of the faction of the NURTW that he received when he was contesting, he's still not treating them as friends. He's acting, behaving as a governor should behave. Yeah, as a leader, you're going to offend your friends. You're going to offend your friends, and it's very painful. But that's what he's doing now, because largely, even if I would not support prescription or banning of, the activities of a union. I'm a union leader. I am a lawyer. I won't support prescription. But I will tell you that fundamentally, the first thing that comes, before any other thing, is the security of the state. That's the first assignment. And, it's about the benefits of the majority, and everybody must benefit. But if about 1,000 people would disrupt the peace of the whole of Oyo State, it's going to give the governor a serious headache and concern. So that exactly is what he is doing. So on Monday, I was passing by the express in the morning, and I saw that they blocked the side of the secretariat. I wasn't thinking about the secretariat, but I saw that place was blocked, and the other side was jam-packed by, because we had to face people were, driving against traffic. So, but when we got to that spot, when I saw the security men, military men, mobile policemen, the equipments they brought, I'll call it equipments, the guns they were carrying, I knew the governor was not playing. If a madman, really mad person, was to pass through that place, the moment he gets to that place, he will be okay. Possibly after leaving that place, the madness will return. But what I saw there, even as bold as I was shivering that, God, don't let them misbehave. Don't let them misbehave until I pass. So it's not joking. And that's how it should be. And I want to use this opportunity, if you allow me also, to talk to our people. A union is a union. We are all workers. Whether you are a Danfo driver or Kada rider, I see you as one of my constituency. We are workers. But they need to also sit down together. We can't be notorious. Let me give you an example. Do you know that late Chief Obafemi Awolowo was a secretary of something that you call like an NURTW? And it did not become a talk. He's the greatest Nigerian public administrator ever. Check it anywhere. Why do we have to be idle ants that billionaires will not be using? They will not be killing us, killing our children, killing our friends. No. Let the NURTW people, let them sit down also to reform. Your children are attending best of universities. We are friends. We know ourselves. Why are you thugs? Do you think your children are proud of you when they tag you as thugs? Sit down, discuss and settle this amicably. What's in it that you cannot say that you must always use cutlass and guns and all that? So the governor has a responsibility to protect the state, and that is what he is doing.
Now, you were scribbling something while I was talking. I'm curious to know what you were writing.
It's nothing really, because he has said it and he has spoken well. Yeah. What I just want to say is that as a leader, you need to be compassionate and dispassionate. Okay? When it's time for you to make judgments or make decisions, you should try to be dispassionate. Not because this person has worked for me, this person is my friend. No, give chance for competence to play its role. And when it's time for you to make decisions that would affect the generality of the populace or the citizen or the people that you are governing, then you should try to be compassionate to the best of your ability. Because when you uphold these two things firmly, you would make sure that you're going to be enacting proper policies, in the sense that you would always do what is right and, of course, deviate absolutely from what is wrong. So what I'm trying to say in essence and substance is that the governor has actually made the rightful pronouncement by placing the NURTW on ban since and for now. So and what I think
do you
should do
subscribe
going
to their
forward,
prescription?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So what I just think they should do, like a recommendation, is summon all the stakeholders together, okay, orientate them, make them realize that, of course, this is your state, okay, it's meant to be your lineage and your heritage. Try as much as possible to contribute your own quota, because your own quota that you contribute today, that will become history tomorrow. Try as much as you can to make sure that the story that you are going to leave behind is that your children and children's children will be happy to tell and will be happy to associate with. Because if such doesn't happen, trust me, it is not sure that this NURTW would not cause more mayhem.
Let me just correct an impression before we move further. The governor does not have the power to prescribe a union. He cannot. The union is not registered in your state. And there's only one NURTW in Nigeria, which has its certificate at the headquarters in Abuja. And he cannot also ban the union in Oyo State. He does not have the power, but he can ban the activities.
Okay.
That's what he has done.
Okay.
You cannot. You can continue to answer your name and send URCW, but the activities that you will do that will endanger the citizenry is what has been banned. It's not doing anything against the law.
So, how does this, affect the transportation in Oyo State? Because I mean, we're talking about.
We cannot really say that it's actually affecting. For the commuters, they will tell you that they're even enjoying the peace of the garages. Now that that's why I'm saying that the union leaders should sit down. When the commuters are even in support of the ban against you, it calls to question what has been your contribution to the system in the state. So you shouldn't be carrying bad names all around. And even the transporters, the drivers, they will tell you that now they have 1,000 or 2,000, better than before to take home. So, and unions, we also have issues. Unions are meant to protect the members. Largely, that is not what we do today. We live larger than life and we don't do much to. When we were growing up, I am from Yemetuoje. There were garages in front. There was a garage in front of my father's house, and I knew what they were doing that time. If a driver was arrested, the leaders would go there. They will, go about the base, settle it, and all that. Today, it is the man that is wearing LURTW jersey or uniform that will hand over the driver to a security person. I don't want to mention the name of security agency. That have you given him money? That's not what a union should be for. It should be that when one of you is sick, you help him. When this one doesn't have a car, you buy it. How much? The money you make every day, you can support them. Then give them training. Don't give baths for more children than you can afford. What stops a graduate from being a driver? Are you getting me now? If he chooses to do it and he can become a millionaire. We used to have an old man in Ibadan who he was the first person that we heard, cross the bar of billions in this land. He was a transporter. He was not literate. Are you getting me now? So look at those that are doing corporate transport business now. It's something that educated people are putting money into. Look at those guys that came up with one Okada. I don't want to advertise them now. Okada stuff. Do you see the corporate way they are handling it? I think we need to sit down. AURTW, you are not thugs. Nobody is born a thug. You are not thugs. Sit down, talk to yourselves, and change the way you want to.
I wish we can talk more on this, but unfortunately the time is not exactly our friend, so we have to draw the curtain for this week's edition of Spectrum. You wanted to say something? Okay, just 1 minute.
No, I'm thinking you have more to.
Okay, well, there's no time. We have to round up. Thank you so much for being part of the program today. Thank you so much, Comrade Wale Akinremi, the Senior Staff Association of Nigerian University, SANU Chairman, University of Ibadan chapter. Thank you so much for your time.
God bless
and
you.
of course, Mr. Kazeem Bolarinwa, a social commentator. Thank you so much for your contribution to the program today. And thank you to the viewers for being part of the program today. And of course, my behind-the-scene crew, the cameramen, the engineers, the editors, thank you so much for contributing. I've been yours sincerely, Solomon Ofem. Until next week, Wednesday, we'll come away again on Galaxy Television, 2 o'clock. Good afternoon.